Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Alright, got two articles for y'all. Got this one right up here. And it really shows where this world is going, why this devil needs to go. And it also shows that the famine of the word is close. I mean, if they can do this, they can also, justify banning the scriptures. And I got a article right here. Says from Natural News. Says April Fools calling a male person a man illegal in Scotland starting April 1st. April Fools calling a male person a man illegal in Scotland starting April 1st. In a few short weeks, it will no longer be legal for people in Scotland to refer to males as men. Thanks to the passage of the Hate Crime and Public Order Scotland Bill. Said bill was passed 3 years ago, but will only just now come into effect on April 1st, 2024, also known as April Fool's Day. Because of the bill's ridiculous implications, many are wondering if it is some kind of April Fool's joke. The bill appears to have been passed because of a crime committed by a Harry Potter author, a so-called crime, right? Committed by Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, who was reported to the police in England for calling trans woman broadcaster India Willoughby a biological male, a man. Because Willoughby self-identifies as a quote-unquote trans woman, he demands, like many other LGBTQ plus S's do, that he be referred to using she pronouns or perhaps they pronouns. Who really cares, right? Rowling, a notable public figure, refused to play ball, and here we are today in 2024 with the imminent execution of the Hate Crime and Public Order Scotland Bill, which prohibits using the wrong gender pronouns and referring to the alphabet crew. While England, ironically enough, where the non-crime was committed by Rowling, Northumbria, police later confirmed to Rowling that she did not in fact commit any crime by referring to Willoughby as a he. Still maintains some semblance of free speech. Scotland is on a road to 1984 style tyranny of epic proportions with the implementation of the Hate Crime and Public Order Scotland Bill. Related, Scottish parents can be jailed for 7 years if they are caught misgendering their alphabet children and refusing to affirm their chosen gender identity. Man, hey, they really putting them through hell. They're really putting them through hell, man. And this is them making you an offender for a word. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is Esau making a man an offender for a word. And it's going to continue to get worse. Oh shit, Salakia. Isaiah 29 and 20 For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. Verse 21. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. So they make a man an offender for a word. Come on. Ain't that not what they're doing right now? Isn't that not what Esau is doing right now? He's making the people in Scotland, which you got Jakes there, an offender for a word. And laying a snare, it's a snare, for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Like, if brothers are in Scotland, now they can't call a man a man. They've even, if a man identifies as a woman, it's a crime to call him a man over there in Scotland. I mean, this is Esau's unrighteous decrees. Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and the right grievousness which they have prescribed. Verse 2. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. This is an unrighteous decree. You can't call a man, someone who was born male, a man. That's an unrighteous decree. In the West, it's supposed to be all about freedom of speech. That's that shit that, and when that's that shit that Esau talks. But Esau ain't about freedom of speech, as you can see. Esau, he's about censoring you. He's about censorship. Only speech that Esau approves of. Because freedom of speech is getting in the way of his agenda. So now he's starting to crack down. And let me continue reading. Scotland is gone. Ironically, the new bill will start being enforced by police on the same day that a new law enforcement cost-cutting measure is implemented that will allow for 1 in every 20 actual crimes to no longer be investigated by cops. If somebody, quote unquote, if somebody breaks into your garden shed and steals your bike, for example, or if your car is vandalized, and no action will be taken unless there is a witness or other evidence such as CCTV footage. So on one hand they have this, and on the other hand, however, if you were to say that you wouldn't want an adult transgender female with male genitalia to share a changing room at the swimming pool with your daughter, then you may risk prosecution. Hey, yeah. These devils, man. This is how you know. And shit like this is how you know that the earth is being ruled by the wicked. Because only the wicked would come up with some shit like this. Let me continue reading. The individual responsible for the new hate crimes bill in Scotland is First Minister Humza Yousaf, which he's just a puppet, who while serving as Justice Secretary put it forth, though Yousaf said it was not or actually his idea. His predecessor, Nicola Sturgeon, is the real brainchild between the pro-alphabet legislation, Sturgeon having openly proclaimed that she wanted to leave behind a legacy with the Gender Recognition Reform Act, which allows people in Scotland to legally change their gender after just 3 months, even if there are no medical grounds to do so. That's this right here. That's more unrighteous decrees, and that's this right here. It's prophesied that these are like the days of Noah, so it is prophesied that it would happen in the last days. Okay, let's go into something else. But this was happening before, it's happening again. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 24. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery. Verse 25. So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumult, perjury. Verse 26. Disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind. That's this right here. Disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanness. How did all this start? Verse, and this is the reason why they're pushing it, because these elite devils worship Baphomet. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 verse 27. Baphomet has both male and female features. Verse 27. For the worshipping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and end of all evil. This is being pushed because the elite devils, the elites of the house of Esau, worship Baphomet. Just like the feminist agenda was pushed, creating disorder in marriages, because the elites of Esau, worship the Queen of Heaven. They worship the Queen of Heaven, going back to Semiramis. But they also worship Baphomet. But yeah, these devils, man, they coming with them unrighteous decrees, man. Continuing on, though, their horrific legislation ended up failing after a convicted double rapist was sent to a female prison using the transgender excuse. Unfortunately, for the Scottish people. The new hate crimes bill, which was hatched while the world was distracted by the Wuhan coronavirus, Slovakia. Yeah. You know what it is. Yeah, you dig. Is coming into effect on April the 1st. Unlike in England and Wales, there is no provision for Police Scotland to ignore trivial, malicious, or irrational complaints, and all reports of hate crime must be recorded no matter how nonsensical they are. This could, in theory, even see the new book in which the Loch Ness Monster is depicted as a male. Traditionally, Nessie is regarded as a she monster, recorded on police systems for quote-unquote misgendering. The alphabet takeover of the West is just about complete. Yeah, these devils. Okay, this one. Let me get right here. This is something else I want to get. Canada rolling out social credit system. Citizens' bank accounts linked to obedience scores. Our neighbors to the north. Slovakia. I tried to click out of that and I accidentally clicked on it. Fuck. Our neighbors to the north are implementing a new system called quote unquote open banking that will link citizens' bank accounts to a new social credit scoring system. In the aftermath of the trucker convoy and other noteworthy protests against, you know what it is, the demic tyranny in Canada, the Justin Trudeau regime is radicalizing the nation's banking system to make it much harder for citizens to express their voice against political corruption. Proponents of the social credit score linked banking paradigm say it will make Canadian banks more quote unquote inclusive, allowing them to easily access user data on demand while being able to share information with one another. A World Bank partner called Open Banking Excellence (OBE), which originated in the UK, the United Kingdom, is proudly boasting right now that it will incorporate social credit scores with people's banking information in Canada. Canadians will likely receive digital cash and identification in one inclusive place. And they can ultimately consolidate that into the chip, the CHIP. They can ultimately consolidate that into the CHIP. Quote unquote, it's about having that fair, more inclusive, more open society. And also these devils talked about that China model, right? Now you've seen it starting to be implemented. So OBE founder Helen Child, making sure to use all the popular buzzwords to make her project sound buzzwords to make her project sound like a dream come true for the world. Related, the UN is unleashing a global digital compact to create a global social credit scoring system for everybody. Yeah, because they're eventually gonna expand it to include everybody, not just these Canada or China, or not just these individual countries. It's gonna be a global system. Moving towards a cashless society. Disturbingly, OBE already operates in some 40 different countries, claiming that it aims to create exceptional platforms and content that promotes knowledge sharing, new thinking, and partnerships within the industry, catalyzing the adoption of open finance and data for better financial inclusion worldwide. Child's use of the term open society is also disturbing in that this is the ideology championed by international billionaire agitator George Soros. It implies open borders, no more prison, and out of control crime without punishment. Basically chaos. Basically. So they can bring the order. That's what that he's talking about. The Open Society Foundation is basically it's basically being used to introduce the chaos so they can then bring the order. Ordo ab chaos. When you look into it. Because Esau ain't trying to free all the Jakes out of prison and shit. I mean, it's written. He, in Isaiah 14, he, what you call it? Released not the house of, opened not the house of his prisoners. In fact, this devil was trying to turn the whole world into a prison planet, like that Alex Jones site. You know, digital prison. All this substantiating progressive changes for the world. Really, that's that devil promoting chaos so he can bring the order. But let me continue. Forcing Canadians and others around the world to maintain high social credit scores in order to buy and sell constitutes inclusivity and fairness remains unknown. OBE officials and other proponents of the construct never really say. It drives financial inclusion, quote unquote, is all a child will say about this game. Quote unquote, it's democratizing data. What we can clearly see from all this is that child has her eyes on all the gold her data collection scheme will add to her financial stockpile. Data of this kind, of the kind of group collects in order to populate social credit scores is valuable. After all, especially as the world descends into a cashless abyss. Quote unquote, there is no there's no easier way to control the masses than to control the access to money and their ability to buy, trade, and freely move about. The Canadian press came right out and just said what Chow was clearly thinking, explaining that one of the biggest areas of growth in the financial sector has to do with credit assessments. Under open banking, lenders could directly access an individual's banking data so they can look beyond credit scores. The press explained. Consumers can also use it to build their credit scores, for example, by proving reliable rent payments. In other words, the goal is to assess something beyond just one's credit score in order to determine Slovakia whether he or she is worthy to participate in the new global economy that the globalists are unleashing. Keep in mind that Canada is big on prosecuting quote unquote hate speech. One can only imagine how people found guilty of committing hateful anything, quote unquote, will be dinged on their social credit scores, disallowing their participation in anything commerce and finance related. It happened during the trucker convoy, and then what happened complements of OBE and its inclusive quote unquote financial schemes. More related news about the push for social credit score systems can be found at tyranny.news. And let me get this. That's also making a man an offender for a word. But also, ultimately, it's this right here. Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to ultimately this, because it's gonna get the squeeze is gonna get tighter and tighter, and so it's gonna be like a life or death. But that kind of is already a life or death thing, but or it's getting close to it. But it's eventually gonna be a life or death thing if you don't bow to this image of the beast, meaning bow to the system. You're gonna be uh, you're gonna be put to death, man. Just like in this scripture, Revelation 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And eventually, it's gonna get that way, It's gonna get that draconian. Oh, which leads me to another scripture. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. His decrees were draconian. Had two horns, two political parties, but also, appeared like a lamb. Like we're here for the best of you. We're here for your benefit. We care about what the people got to say. Shit like that. We're so called Christian, which was how they would appear before. Now it's just we care about democracy. We care about your rights. All that. Like a lamb, right? But spake as a dragon. Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. That's ultimately what's the U.S., but it's also these NATO countries, these EU countries. Canada has a similar system. They have the liberals and the conservatives, and they have the liberals and the conservatives, two ones of the same beast. And they come like pretend to care about your rights and all that. Or really they don't really they gonna violate them with these draconian measures. I also want to bring this out too. This is more video material. SpaceX working with the U.S. intelligence agency on massive satellite network that captures ultra high resolution videos of entire cities in real time. SpaceX is building, and this is Esau making himself trying to be as the Most High, Yahweh. SpaceX is building a massive spy network of optical satellites that is capable of spying on cities in real time, recording videos and tracking people's movements as part of a classified contract with an American intelligence agency, Reuters reported. The network, which will involve hundreds of spy satellites, is being built by the Starshield division of SpaceX as part of a 2021 contract worth $1.8 billion with the U.S. National Reconnaissance Office (NRO). The contract involves powerful spy systems that can take images of Earth and swarm in low orbits. The satellites can track various targets on the ground and share data about them with military and intelligence officials. That would mean, at least in theory, that the government can quickly record activities taking place on the ground anywhere on the planet. Reuters could not confirm when these satellites will come online and what other companies may be participating in the project. SpaceX is currently the biggest satellite operator in the world. A dozen prototypes of the satellites have been launched in the past few years on SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets. Although a government database of objects in orbit indicates that some SpaceX missions have deployed satellites, the government and the company have never acknowledged them. However, two anonymous sources confirmed to Reuters that they were Starshield prototypes. That marks a significant victory for the U.S. government, which has long sought the capabilities this network will afford them. They will be able to monitor activities all over the planet at all times. One of the sources says that the network's vast reach meant that, quote unquote, no one can hide. There have also been reports that the imagery has such a high resolution that the satellites can easily and clearly record the movements of people and vehicles, potentially even overlaying their identities to better track people's movements. Geolocation pings on cell phones could be used to confirm identities, allowing the government to know where people are going with whom. A spokesperson for the NRO declined to comment on SpaceX's involvement in the program. However, it did confirm to Reuters that it was working on, quote unquote, the most capable, diverse, and resilient space-based intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance system the world has ever seen, quote unquote. It is also important to acknowledge that the dominance of SpaceX in the satellite internet sphere is giving Elon Musk a considerable amount of power when it comes to geopolitics and war. The use of Starlink satellites has been a point of contention in the war between Russia and Ukraine, but the fact that Musk is helping the DoD and intelligence community to spy on cities in the U.S. and abroad is enabling him to make very powerful friends. China accuses U.S. of threatening global security. Shortly after the Reuters report was published, Chinese military and state-run media accused the U.S. of posing a threat to global security with the program. The PLA, People's Liberation Army, posted on social media that the program was evidence of the U.S.'s shamelessness and double standards at a time when America has been accusing Chinese technology companies of threatening U.S. security, which is true. They're fucking hypocrites. The U.S. is spying on everybody else, but they worried about TikTok. The post, which appeared on the platform Weibo, said, "We urge U.S. companies not help a villain do evil. All countries worldwide should be vigilant against and protect against new and even bigger security threats by the U.S. government," quote unquote. Meanwhile, an editor for the CCP-run magazine Aerospace Knowledge, Wang Yanan, said in an interview with the state-controlled newspaper, "The United States' high-profile intelligence reconnaissance of countries or regions it is concerned about will inevitably cause, basically no matter what, will cause some hot issues to become more sensitive or even escalate." And this is Esau trying to be like the Most High Yahweh, all knowing. Isaiah 14 and 12. "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Verse 13, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars and the most high power Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." Verse 14, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." That's what he has in his mind, this devil. Verse 15, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." Verse, to the grave, also into a hellish condition, symbolically. Slavery, namely. That's where this devil is going to go. But he thinks that he can be as the Most High Yahweh. Verse 16, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying," and he aspires to be as the Most High Yahweh. He wants to be. Verse 16, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?" Verse 17, "That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners." Is this the man, right? And let me get this too. And I believe it's in either First or Second Thessalonians. Yeah, Second Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day, the day of Mashiach coming back, shall not come except there come a falling away first," 70 AD. Has started at 70 AD. Ended in us, going into slavery and captivity. "Except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed," happening now. "The son of perdition," verse 4, "who opposeth," as happening now, and it's been happening. Verse 4, "who opposeth and exalteth himself," the point right here, "above all that is called the Most High Power Yahweh," or all that is called a power, really, or that is worshipped, "so that he as a power, sitting in the temple of the power, showing himself that he is a power." Ultimately, he wants that ultimate control. This is steps towards it. He wants that ultimate control with that C hip in your right hand or in your forehead. Wants to know what you're thinking and everything. All knowing, omni, all knowing, omnipotent, all powerful. That's what he wants to be, man. Slack it. I had to spit something out of my mouth. But let me continue. But yeah. Also, I got another scripture. Come on, don't play with me. Maybe it's like this. There you go. This is about Esau too. Esau is referred to as the Prince of Tyrus. Referred to as the Prince of Tyrus also. Because he has a similar mindset. A similar mindset as him. In fact, I would say Esau is more proud. But let me get verse 3 of Ezekiel 28. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. And this shows that with them satellites that are going to be up. The other technology that they have. They can watch you. Listen to what you're doing in your crib. Watch you through your phone. I believe your computer webcam too. They can watch you through that and out through these satellites. This is really to be able to watch the elect. Because the scriptures say we're going to be as pilgrims, right? So they want to see where we would be at hiding in the woods and shit. Or wherever we would be at. They want to see. So, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And let me get this one too. This one goes along with it. It's a precept to it. Sirach or Ecclesiastes. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 5:15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. But ultimately, these we're the elect, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, be of that number, we're gonna be given spiritual powers. And that includes, cloaking, being able to cloak ourselves. So that these satellites can't see us. Angelic powers. Zechariah 12 and 8. In that day shall Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as powers, as the angel of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai before them. Verse 9, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And let me also get Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai shall lift up a standard against them. Verse 20, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So yeah, really, it's these preppers that are going to get caught up, because they're not going to have the spiritual powers, man. And they're not going to be getting defended by angels and other brothers with spiritual powers. So these preppers are going to get caught out here, whether they be these Edomite preppers, these lower level Edomite preppers, or these 2/3 that try to do the same, or heathens that try to do the same. They're going to get caught up. A lot of you 2/3 celebrities thinking y'all are gonna ride this out, man. If the marauders don't get y'all, if y'all don't get caught somewhere, well, a lot of these bunkers, because y'all gonna get caught somewhere when shit hits the fan. A lot of y'all, a lot of these bunkers are gonna be for the elect, But a lot of you preppers out here and you 2/3 celebrities, y'all are gonna get caught up because Esau's gonna be able to see you with those satellites. So ain't no way to really calmly prepare for this, for shit hitting the fan. It's more of you gotta prepare spiritually, which only the elect of the nation of Yasharallah, so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners that look like the other nations, but you're really Israelites. So your spirit bears witness of that. 1/3 of y'all here in Babylon, as well as the 144K, y'all will be protected. But the elect, not. The elect, y'all gonna be protected, but the rest, the 2/3, heathens and eat regular, schmegular as devils, are not gonna be protected. When Esau comes down with great wrath. Well, with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there. Spread this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Shalom, stay strong. Ababa Ball. Yashrallah. Ababa Ball. Death to Babylon. Abadla Adwamium. Death to these other nations. Well, that's actually death to these Edomites. Abadla Adwamium. That means death to these Edomites. Abala Gawayim, that's to these other nations. Abala Ayabim Nawa, that's to our enemies. The rest of our enemies, meaning 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners that look like the other nations, but go back to so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans. 2/3, well, on your father's side, your spirit bears witness of that. 2/3 of y'all here in Babylon are gonna die horrible deaths. Die a death by pain as well. And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is gonna bring it. Y'all gonna die in that, ultimately, in that lake of fire created by the nukes that's gonna hit this place. But also, you wicked Israelites living outside of Babylon who were not destined to come over here to Babylon to live. Y'all also, the ones of y'all that don't repent, y'all also gonna die horrible deaths in other ways. Like getting attacked by wild beasts, like famine, pestilence, which, or by the sword. And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is ultimately gonna bring it. But with that, I hope this video is edifying. Shalom, stay strong. Ababa Ba, Yasharallah, forever. Shalom.